Hello and welcome to this video. The year 2026 is slowly coming. It will bring us a new set of regulation and design changes to Formula 1 cars. For me, it means that I need to prepare a new 3D model for animations, renders or just livery design. And you can create one yourself too. This tutorial series is aimed to everyone who wants to start creating 3D models. You don't need any previous experiences, it will not make you a master. We will go step by step, so you try to create your first 3D model and it will be a Formula 1 car. What's the best? The all software we will use is available to you for free and all the material you will need will be linked under the video. When you are starting with 3D modeling, it can be a little overwhelming, there's a lot to learn, that's why we will take it slowly and mostly we will have fun doing it. For me, it's a new experience as well, creating a tutorial series, because I'm not used to talk when I'm on the computer, and also I'm filming this late at night after the work. Sorry about the audio quality, I'm still in the middle of building a studio, but we will manage it. If you don't have a Blender on your computer, go check this installation video, and after that, let's get right into it. Open a new blend file, select everything by pressing A, and press delete to delete everything, we don't need it. What we need are the reference images for our 3D model. In this series, I will model the new 2026 F1 concept car. So open the Google, type it in, and look for images which are very similar to the blueprints. This means side view, front view, and top view. Download these reference images and keep this tab open. We can go back if we will need some different view of the car. Now go back to Blender, double click on the collection and rename it to reference images. Go to top view by pressing 7 and add a new plane. Change the dimension to 1.9 meter. This is the maximum width of these new cars. We will use this plane to scale our reference images. Open the folder where you downloaded your reference images and just drag and drop the top view to the scene. Press R to rotate and type 90 on your numpad to rotate it by 90 degrees. Then scale it according to this plane. Recentrate via the Transform tab. Type the 0 to the coordinates and then you can delete this plane, we don't need it anymore. In image settings, change the opacity to 0.8 so we can see through this image. Rename it and then go to side view. We will add a side reference the same way. Drag and drop the image to the scene and then scale it according to top view. We would like to match it according to wheels. These are not the blueprints, they are not 2D orthographical images, but still they will help us model the car. Then in Transform tab, move it back to 0 in X-axis. Also change the opacity to 0.8. Rename it to side and let's add a front view. Press 1 to go to front view and drag and drop the image of the front view. Again, this is not a perfect picture as a blueprint for the reference, but it can help us at least model the car. And remember, we don't need to have a precise model, this is a concept car. It's about having the fun and model what we want. Scale it down by pressing S, press G, then Y to move it along Y axis and move it to the back. Rename it and then we can start modeling. There are multiple approaches to 3D model in Blender and we will look to several of them in this tutorial series. In this first part we will start with simple planes and playing with the vertices, so you remember the process and repeat the steps to try the shortcuts. We will create a multiple simple objects, in our case it will be front and rear wing. We will start with the rear wing. Right click to tree, add a new collection, double click to rename it and rename it to something like F1 2026 3D model. And add a new plane. Press G, then Z to move it along Z axis and move it up. Go to edit mode, press R to rotate it along Y axis by 90 degrees. Then press G and move it to the side. First we will make the side plates of the rear wing. Turn on the X-ray to see your reference image through the plane. Scale it by pressing S and move it around by pressing G. First move vertices of this base plane. Then select these bottom ones and extrude them by pressing E. Scale this edge and then move it to the side. The same on the top, choose these vertices and extrude them up. Select this corner and slide it along the edge by double pressing the G. Then add a loop cut by pressing Ctrl R and move these vertices as well. Add another loop cut under it and try to follow this shape of the wing. Now let's go to Modifier tab and let's add a subdivision modifier to smooth this out. Change it up to 2 and then add a loop cut to define the edges. Press Ctrl R, add a loop cut and slide it to the side. You can see how the edges are getting sharper. This way we can simply define our shape. Turn off the X-ray and you can move the vertices as we want to follow the shape of the rear wing. Add another loop cut to the bottom, and this now looks quite alright. Now go to front view, select everything by pressing A, press G and X to move along X axis and move it to the position of the rear wing. As you can see, this front image isn't really helpful, but we can go to object mode, duplicate it by Shift D, hide the original and move it down to match our rear wing better. That way we can have at least some reference on the front view. Then return to edit mode of the side plate. As you can see, the wing goes towards the inward in the back, so we need to add loop cuts in the precise height, then slide it inward. Add a loop cut to the side, then go to front view, slide it up by double G, or press G plus Z to move it in Z axis. Then add another loop cut to the bottom, select every of these bottom vertices, go to front view and move them to the side by pressing G plus X. This seems quite correct. Go to object mode, right click on this plate and choose auto smooth. Now let's add thickness to this plane. In modifier tab, add a new modifier, generate, solidify. And just like this, we have our first part. Let's add one more modifier and it will be a mirror. Go to Modifier tab, add a new modifier, Generate Mirror, alongside X-axis. That way we have simply side plate mirror to the other side. Rename it and we will add a main part of the rear wing. Add a new mesh, plane, move it up, move it to the back, and go to edit mode. Add a loop cut to the middle by pressing Ctrl R, escape, and then delete the one side. Because we will be using a mirror modifier, so we will model only one side of this and then mirror it to other side. Again turn on the X-ray and move it to the correct position. Then move the right edge, so it's a little bit overlapping with the side plate of the wing. Also move it forward, don't follow this reference at the moment, we want to have it off the edge of the side plate. Then rotate the image and move it down. Go to front view and adjust it to the top position of the wing. Extrude it towards the bottom as you see this edge on the reference. Switch the X-ray on again and delete the side faces. We don't need them because we will be mirroring this object. Then select the rear face, go to front view and move it up so it matches with the reference. Then add a loop cut to the top and the bottom face, select both of them and go to front view. Move it down to match it with the reference. Now add a mirror modifier and after that a subdivision modifier. Let's define the edges by adding loop cuts. Press Ctrl R, add a loop cut and slide it towards the edge so it's sharper. In the front make it quite neutral so it's a nice round edge. Then go to Object Mode, right click, Shade Smooth, and then you can rename it. Now let's add the upper DRS flap. It's the exactly same principle. Add a new plane, move it up, go to top view and move it to the position. Then switch to edit mode, add a loop cut in the middle, delete 1/2 and you can turn the X-ray on. Now scale it in Y axis and move it to the position. On this upper flap we need to create two parts. One will be the movable DRS flap and the second is a static connection piece. So move it toward the inside when you don't see the silver edge. Then go to front and move it down. Select the front edge, go to front view again and move it down according to reference. Turn the X-ray on and as you can see, we are too far in the back. Also select the top edge and move it down. Then select the right edge and move it towards the middle so we create a bigger gap on the side. Add a loop cut by pressing Ctrl R and move it down in Z axis. Then select everything and extrude towards bottom. Turn on the X-ray, delete these two middle faces because we will be using mirror. Then select these outer edges. Not the wall faces but only the edges. And add a weight by pressing Shift E and dragging your mouse. That way this edge will not be affected by subdivision modifier and it will remain sharp. Now add a mirror modifier and after that subdivision modifier. Define the edges again by pressing Ctrl R and adding loop cuts. And then turn the X-ray on. Select all of these side vertices, Shift duplicate, Escape and P to separate selection. Now we have it like a separated object. Go to edit mode, select everything and extrude it to the side. Then delete these side faces. Back to object mode, right click, shade auto smooth on both of these parts. And just like this, we have the rear wing. Add a new collection, rename it to rear wing and move all of these parts inside of it. Then create another collection for the front wing. Let's create the front wing. This will be a little bit complicated as it's a more complex shape, but it will be the same technique. You will got it. When we look on the reference images, the best will be to start with the side plate again and then do the middle part. Turn on the reference images, add a new plane, move it to the front and go to the edit mode. Rotate it by Y axis by 90 degrees, move it to the side and let's create the side plate. Turn on the X-ray, scale this plane down and move it to the position. It's all about repeating the same steps so you remember that. It's the same as in the back, just play with the vertices. Let's add a loop cut here and create this shape. Select this corner, slide it up with double G, then move this front corner to the bottom, then add one loop cut in the middle and move this back vertical to create this shape more concave. Add a modifier, subdivision surface, turn the X-ray off and let's define the edges. Add a loop cut to the back, then add another loop cut to the middle and one to the bottom. We can scale this according to the axis and then slide it down. Let's go to front view, select everything and move it to the side. We need to move our reference image again. Go to object mode, select the reference image and move it up so it helps you with creating the front wing. Then return to edit mode and let's move this according to reference. As you can see, it changed its shapes in two directions. So we will start from the front of the wing, select everything and move it to the right to match the front side. Then select all of these rear vertices, go to front view again and move it to the left side. Then select all of the middle vertices, move them to the left. And now the fun shortcut, Shift Ctrl Alt S to shear these vertices. That way we rotate them under the angle without changing their size in the Z-axis. Select the back again and move it more inwards. Also select this loop cut and slide it to the back with double G. Now select the bottom edge, go to front view and extrude it in X-axis. Extrude it again, scale it down in X-axis to 0 and create this side shape. Then we will create the angles of these parts, so go to top view, select these front vertices and shear them with Ctrl Shift Alt S. Then move this selection to the back. Go to side view, select these rear vertices and shear them again. In the side view we can see that it gradually changed its shape towards the front, so now we will select the top vertices and move them to the correct position according to side view. Select these 6 rear, move them down and scale them to 0 in Z-axis. Then select the middle one, move them a little bit down, select the front and move them up. Turn off the X-ray and turn on the subdivision to see what we created. And it looks quite nice. We could add a one loop cut here or select this edge and move it down with double G to define the bottom edge. Here we have some vertices which are not on the correct position, so turn off the subdivision, go to top view and move them to their place. Let's duplicate one of the faces and use it for the little vertical flap on the side. Turn off the subdivision, select this middle face, Shift D to duplicate, move it to the side, go to side view, and now let's create this. Let's start in the back and move it towards the front. It also changed its shapes in two directions. Move the vertices to the bottom and then extrude this upper edge and move this vertex as well. Go to front view, scale it to 0 in X and then let's create this. Add one vertical loop cut, slide this to the front, select these front vertices and move them to the side, then a little bit to the bottom, then select this upper vertex and move it to the left to follow the shape. Turn off the X-ray, select these bottom vertices and move them down so they overlap, and you can turn on the subdivision modifier. Also move this middle one, turn on the subdivision, and let's fix these rear vertices by moving them inward. Add a loop cut to the bottom to define the shape, and let's add a thickness to this side plate. Add a new modifier, generate, solidify. Hide the reference images and check if everything on the bottom is okay, if we don't have some weird overlaps like here, and if we have, just turn on the X-ray, select these vertices and slide them a little so we fix that. And then go to object mode, right click, shade auto smooth. Also change the solidify to a smaller dimension. Then add the last modifier, which is the mirror alongside X-axis. Now we have the front wing side plates. Rename them and then we can create the middle section. Turn on the reference image, add a new plane, move it to the front and go to edit mode. Add a loop cut to the middle, delete one half because we will use the modifier. Turn on the X-ray and let's create the shape. We will start with the largest part on the bottom and then we will create the upper sections. Actually delete these two vertices, we will make the front shape first and then we will extrude it toward the back. Add a loop cut, slide it to the left so in the front of the wing is a flat edge. And then create this view from the top. Select everything, go to front view and move it down. Then back to top view, adding a loop cut and following the shape of the wing. After that to front view, move these vertices to their position. When you go to the front view, you can see that it's changing in different directions, so just select everything, follow the shape in the front, add a loop cut to follow this nicely, and then go to top view again to align it with the front shape of the wing. Then select all of these vertices and extrude them in Y axis. Then move these few vertices toward the front and move this side so it's a little bit overlapping with the side plate. Let's take a look at some other references. It looks like this going a little bit down in the middle and then up in the back. So we will add a one loop cut in the middle and move it toward the bottom. Yeah, this seems quite nice. Then move these vertices on the side so they are not going through the side plate but they are still a little bit overlapping. Let's add a solidify modifier. Let's add a mirror and move it before the solidify modifier because we want to mirror first and then add the thickness. And then add a subdivision modifier. Add loop cuts to define the edges, and add 2 loop cuts here to define the side. Okay, go to Object Mode, right click, Shade Auto Smooth. We have the first part, and this way we will create the remaining 2. Rename it and let's create a middle part. Add a new mesh, plane, move it to the position, go to Edit Mode, cut it in the middle. You already know these steps. We can hide this bottom plane for the moment so we can see the reference image better. Again, delete all of these vertices, because we will create the front shape and then extrude it towards the back. Move this vertex to the side and then extrude it according to this shape. Go to front view, move all of it down, add a loop cut and follow this shape in front view, back to top view and move it to the correct position. Then select everything and extrude in Y axis and scale it down in Y axis. Go to front view, move it a little up, add a loop cut, move it down. We can turn on the bottom piece so we see it's not overlapping. Okay, this seems alright, so back to Object Mode and add the modifiers Mirror, Solidify and Subdivision. Go to Edit Mode, add 2 loop cuts to the end and add the loop cuts to define the edge. Go to Object Mode, right click, Shade Smooth. Rename it and let's create the top part. Hide these two so you see the reference. And then you already know this, add a mesh, plane, move it to the position, go to Edit Mode, add a loop cut to the middle, delete 1/2, delete the backside, and let's follow the shape. Then go to front view and align it according to front view, add a loop cut if necessary, and then back to top view. When you align it in the top view, select everything and extrude it to the back. Move the vertices to follow the rear part of this shape. Then select this back edge, go to front view, move it a little bit up and then move these vertices to upper position. Move the vertices on the edge and then add a loop cut to the middle. Go to front view, move all of them a little bit down, then select the middle ones and move them down so it creates a nice shape on the front wing. This seems alright, okay, go back to Object Mode and add modifiers Mirror, Solidify, Subdivision Surface. Then go back to edit mode and add loop cuts to define the edges. Back to object mode, right click, shade auto smooth. Then turn the remaining parts on, and as you can see we have a huge overlap in the middle which we need to fix. Go to edit mode, select all of these middle vertices, move them up so it's nice and clean. We can move this middle edge as well. I don't like this edge as well, so I will go back to edit mode, select all of these corner vertices and move them down. Okay, now it follows the bottom part much better. Now we need the little connecting pieces on the wing. Let's take a look on references. There are two of them on each side between bottom and the middle part. Rename the upper part and then let's add these connecting pieces. We will use the same principle, add a new object, mesh plane. I just noticed that I have an overlap here, so I will fix that first. Just go to edit mode and move these vertices so they are not going through this side. Also there's an error on the upper part. Okay, let's go back to work. Hide the side plate, select the plane, move it to the position, go to edit mode, move it to the position, rotate it by epsilon by 90 degrees, and let's create this small connecting piece. We don't see it on these side reference images, but it's a simple hook, we just connect these two pieces. We'll just quickly create this hook shape. Make a nice shape like this, then select everything and go to top view. Hide these parts of the wing and move it to the correct position. We need only the middle and bottom part. Move this hook down and align it with these two parts. Adjust the hook so it fits the wing. Then extrude it to the side. Add a loop cut to the middle and add a subdivision surface modifier. Great. Then go to top view, select everything, Shift D to duplicate and move it to the second location. Adjust it again as necessary. Go to object mode, right click, shade smooth and add a mirror. And just like this, we have the front and the rear wing for our car. Don't forget to rename these connecting pieces we just created. And what is the better way to end this video than create some renders, so you can try the rendering too. Add a new collection, rename it to simple scene and add a one new plane. Scale it up. This will be our floor. Go to Material, Add New and keep it like that. Now add a light source. Go to Add, Light, Area. Move it up, scale it up and change the strength to 100 watts. Before you hit the render LAN, check some settings. Go to Edit, Preferences and make sure you have your GPU selected. You can also render on the CPU, but it's slower. Then go to Render tab and switch render engine to cycles. Select the GPU compute. And in the viewport we don't need the noise threshold. Change the samples to 8. Also disable the noise threshold in the render and change the samples to something like 32 for this. Now go to World and change the color to the complete black. Save your file with Ctrl S and click on Viewport Render. Hide the overlays and just like this we have our first scene with our first model. Show the overlays again and switch to Viewport Shading. What we would like now is to add some material to our models. For this we will use a Blender Kit. Blender Kit is a free add-on which will give you more than 47,000 free assets for use. We will use mostly materials from this add-on. Click to download page and follow the instruction to install it into your Blender. Go to Find Materials and type carbon fiber. Here you see the selection of the materials. We will use the second one, just drag and drop it into the scene to your model. Apply this material to all of these parts in the Material tab. We will use one more material for the connecting pieces and it will be steel. Just find the one you like, drag and drop it to the scene and apply it to correct parts. We will also apply a steel to this rear connecting section. We can close this menu and let's add a camera. Click N to unpack this side menu, go to View and select Camera to View. Then press 0 to switch to the camera view and you can move around the same way like you move around in Blender normally. Before the render we will check if the face orientation of our object is correct. Click 0 to go out of the camera view, go to Overlays and select Face Orientation. Here you can see the correct faces, the blue one, and the incorrect faces, the red one. Each face in the Blender has two sides, positive and negative normal. The blue one is a positive normal, which you want to see as an outside face. The red one is a negative one, back face, which shouldn't be visible in the scene. As you can see, we have a mismatch here. Select the object which is red, go to Edit mode and press Shift N to recalculate normals. Then click on the inside if it doesn't do it automatically. Now you can see that the face is blue. This also applies to the models we created. Just go to Edit mode, select everything with A, Shift N to recalculate normals inside. When we flip normal so everything is blue, we can disable the face orientation in the Overlays menu. Last thing we are going to do is to scale this carbon fiber properly. It's working with the UV coordinates, but we don't have the UV unwrap on these parts yet. So select any of these carbon parts and go to Shading tab. And in the node editor, change the texture coordinate from UV to object. When we take a look on it now, it's not stretched anymore, but it's correct along all sides. We can go back to layout. We can go back to layout tab, press 0 to go to camera, set up the camera to the position we like, and press F12 to render. To save this render, go to image, save as, and save it as a test render. And that's it, we have our first render of our first parts for our Formula 1 concept car. That will be all for today. If this is your first model and you managed to get here, you can be proud of yourself. Today we create the first parts, you tried some of the basic shortcuts, and next time we will move to the main body. So hit the like if you like this video and subscribe for the following parts of this tutorial series. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.